All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. It was a very crazy 3 days of trading from Thursday to Friday to today. So that is what we are going to talk about. We're going to do the NASDAQ, the SP 500, and the Dow Jones. We will use our 5 moving average lines, our horizontal support and resistance lines, and then wrap it up with the MACD and RSI. Look, it's been a crazy couple days. I'll be real honest. I got fooled by Friday. I actually didn't even expect today to go up. It's been a crazy day, and I'm not here to pretend I know it all, right? So when I get fooled, I hope you learn from it, right? You see what my thinking was. You see what I learn after the day's trading, and then you see how I adjust, right? So I'm not going to pretend that I knew what was going on because we're all trying to learn together, right? So that said, look, I'm just going to focus on these 3 days. So on Thursday, we obviously had a monster jump, right? There was a reason for the jump, which was my support line, right? We've definitely lost every single moving average. So if we don't have these support lines, there's really nothing else, right? So I'm happy that the 10,000 number pretty much was the bounce point. You know, the bounce was so strong, and we definitely broke this few-day downtrend that I actually expected this day to go up. Okay, I really thought Friday was going to go up. I thought we'd make what is going to be now a 4th attempt at this 20, right? 1, 2, 3. I thought, number 4 was going to happen right there. It now obviously crashed on Friday, but today, man, today was a beautiful day, okay? Obviously not as big a green candle, but this thing speaks volumes to me, okay? The first thing, which I hope you automatically notice because you're watching these videos, we're over the 8, okay? Rule number 1, you have to be over the 8 to be good, okay? So I'm glad this happened. Again, if you watch these videos, you know I need confirmation, and I literally need confirmation to close, a penny over, right? I don't want to close here. I don't want to close here, right? Tomorrow, I need to close here. With that, that's the second thing I like. We actually beat Thursday. So you can see Thursday closed at 10,650. We closed at $75 over. Hell yeah, right? That alone is a pretty bullish thing. So we broke the high, the immediate high, right? We did better than 50% of the yesterday, and we're over the 8. Those 3 things are really good. It looks like the RSI is also a little bit higher. So if you see over there, it's 45.41 for the green. We're at 47.41. Again, I rarely talk about the numbers on these, but hey, we've at least gone a little higher on the RSI. We've gone a little higher on the candle. And again, we are over the 8. So those are some bullish signs. Again, though, I'll be honest, I thought the day after this one was going to be good, right? I do think we're going to make another test at the 20. But again, it's been crazy, and just let's see what tomorrow does. A few important things to stress, okay? So I'm going to zoom out. You know, I don't like zooming out too much. I got to go to April. Boom. Okay. So let's make some trend lines. A couple things. So this is the peak of April. This is we've hit this right here. So this is line 1, right? Basically that point right there from there. That is the main downtrend. And again, it's almost perfectly in line with the 200. From there, the downtrend started getting steeper, right? So it's this line, boom, from top of here to top of here. Then it started doing this, right? And actually, if you look, again, it's not a perfect line, but it almost lines up today with it again pretty well. For me, I still do care about getting over the 20, but even if we get over the 20, that's only one downtrend. Then there's this downtrend. Then there's the main downtrend, right? So the only thing I'm trying to stress is don't let a little bit of good fool you from the bigger picture, okay? Obviously, hey, if it's good, try to ride it, right? The stocks will do well, and don't ignore good, right? However, don't call it a break of this potential crash or whatever until big things happen, right? Overall, a couple other things. This is obviously going to be a pretty big resistance, and it looks like it's around that 11.7 number. Yeah, getting closer, 11.6, right? But I've also said, remember, 11.3, 11.5, and 11.7 are a couple extra numbers in between these two. So just keep that in mind. Look, all things said, in my opinion, I think we're going to try to make a fourth attempt at the 20. Will we break it? Hey, I don't know. I think we might. I do like the way that this is setting up. I just don't know if we're actually going to break this, let alone the 200, right? So just things to consider. But hey, we might be, because again, look, it's obviously only a couple days, right? But it kind of looks like this is starting now, right? Clearly, we've seen signs of that have fallen. But hey, if tomorrow ends up on this side, right? If it's a little closer to let's call it anywhere in the 10.5 range. If it's 10.5 and up, that could be bad. Hopefully, this thing stays at 10.7 upward, right? That's really what we're going to want to see if this short-term uptrend is really going. Let's take a look at the weekly. Again, it's only Monday, right? So it's a little early looking at the weekly. Nonetheless, look, it looks like the green wants to get over the red, which is obviously what we want. This isn't that great. So again, I think I'm not expecting a number of weeks of good, right? I don't know if that's going to happen. Hey, maybe it will after the weekends and things move, right? But maybe we'll see a good week or two. And again, I think that goes back into, I think maybe we'll get this high around that 11.7 number, but just honestly, I'm not too sure we're going to go back to this 12.25, 12.250. Wow, sorry about that. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analysis here. Let's just quickly look at the monthly. Look at that. I mean, that is a very hard doji, right? I rarely talk about candle shapes, but you know this is the one I talk about. Extreme uncertainty up, extreme uncertainty down, and in 2 weeks we basically haven't moved at all, right? So that speaks volumes. It really, really does. Okay, just it's important to when things are definitive. It is, when things are uncertain, that's when things get a little harder to predict, right? Because everyone's scared, right? Do you move your money and away from the sector that's bad and put it into good because you're hoping for a pop? Do you just stay, right? It's uncertainty. We're all feeling it, right? I'm a sincere believer in wait for confirmation and let it adjust, right? For me, if you're assuming bad, and you know me, I've actually been assuming bad for a while, don't change anything until we at least break the 20. If this is enough for you, hey, go for it, right? Maybe you'll catch a little extra gain. But for me, the real confirmation is going to be breaking the 20, right? So things look good. But again, we wait for confirmation because I'm not here to buy a pop. I'm here to buy a continuation. Okay, look at this. Again, a lot of similarities to what we were just saying on the NASDAQ. First and foremost, we did better than Thursday, right? Thursday ended down here. We actually ended up here, obviously, right? That's beautiful. We are definitely over the 8 again. It's only been 1 day. Keep that in mind. We do want confirmation. And look, if we were to get confirmation, we're going to break the 20. So I like how close we are here. It's again, I always say they're all going to kind of do the same thing together, right? One doesn't go this way while the two do that. It rarely happens that way. They should all be moving together. And it seems like the 20 is going to be the next big test. And again, this cluster of two averages is going to be pretty hard to break for all of them. But that's a pretty healthy rise up if it even gets anywhere near that, right? So there could be some good short-term gains for individual stocks. Looking at the weekly, all right, I mean, this is actually a better weekly, right? We're starting to see a bit of a curve. We're actually seeing what looks like a bounce on this, on the 200, and it kind of looks like the RSI's popping up a little bit. Again, MACD's not quite there. I like it when they both say the same thing. It's just that double reassurance that I like. But hey, I definitely see, again, it's still very, there are still 4 days left that can bring this thing down here, right? But I like how this is looking. I really do. So individual stocks might be doing well. if things play out tomorrow, and again, tomorrow is super important because we need that confirmation. Let's look at the monthly here as well. Again, I imagine we're going to see, okay, so the doji is still there. It's just the body's not as small. We've at least moved up in the month. But again, there were points where it looked like it was going to fly. There were points where it looked like it was going to lose this moving average, right? So a lot of uncertainty with this like spinning dreidel, spinning top doji shape. So again, tomorrow is going to be key. Are we going to break the 20? And again, I love that the question is kind of the same through both. Sorry, no S there. DJ 30, Dow Jones Industrial. Boom. Look at that. So we've surpassed Thursday. We've actually broken the 20 one more time. And look, we're actually over the 8 for 3 days. So we were over the 8 here. Friday's crash still kept us over the 8. And again, we got it. So 3 days over the 8. How are we looking in terms of this? Oh, look at that. You can see today it pretty much tested this peak right here, right? Literally the line went almost to it. Why don't I have another line there? I'm not trying to make these as line clustered. I do it a little more with the stocks. I do realize that, but yeah, the major markets, I try to keep a little bit less my horizontal lines, but this looks really good. And I've been saying the Dow Jones looks the strongest. So if anything's going to pull the other two out of the death zone area, it's going to be the Dow Jones, right? This still has the cluster, but it's at least a little more spaced out, right? So maybe the Dow can break these two and then it'll pull the other two out. Definitely something to watch, but today was nice. It was. I wish we closed just a little higher. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so we opened at 30,192.21. We actually did not close above Friday's open. I wish it did. Again, it seems like little silly things to notice, but I try to notice as many things as I can, right? Is that one little thing going to make me, negative? I don't think so. I still do think we have a pretty good run up. I think this guy will test these two. I don't know if the other ones will actually get as high as touching them, but Dow Jones is looking strong. It really is, right? So weekly is looking good. And actually MACD looks better on the weekly. And again, we see a pretty good bounce. And look, last week was a pretty hardcore doji. I like how this week is starting. It's showing what the undecisiveness wants. Again, still really early, 4 days left. But good start. Can we maybe even get over the 8 on the weekly? Ooh, that'd be real nice. That'd be real nice, actually. So, yeah, I think this was a pretty good review. Again, overall, it seems like we might have maybe a week and a half of positivity, right? Depending on if we get confirmation tomorrow. That said, still a lot that needs to happen before the overall downtrends are broken, right? So trade safely, make yourself a plan. If you see some positivity, try to make that money. Once you start to see it sway, again, wait for confirmation and bank your profits. Remember, one more time, bank your profits. Now is not the time to try to let it ride for more. If you've made some money, put it in the bank. Trust me. Trade safely out there. I really hope you're learning, and I sincerely appreciate all the time and all the views I've been getting. Thank you.